Thirsty Thursday, to me, means love, it means friends, and most importantly, it means family. Where else could I have connected with all these amazing people during a pandemic? At a show? Nope. Out in public somewhere? Not really. What about online on a Zoom chat once a week? Fuck yeah, buddy.
Hey, what's up, Vox&Hops Heads? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy and the host of the Vox&Hops Metal Podcast, brought to you by Sound Talent Media, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians to talk about their lives, music, and craft beer. Now, today's episode is a very, very special episode, an episode that comes from my heart, and it is all about the Thirsty Thursday Virtual Hang Gang. Before we jump into this amazing episode, I would just like to ask you to follow the Vox&Hops podcast on the podcast platform of your choice. But more than that, I'd also ask you to rate it and write a review, because when you do that, more metalheads just like yourself will be able to discover the Vox&Hops Metal Podcast. You should also sign up to the Vox&Hops Metal Podcast mailing list. You can do that on my website, voxandhops.com. That's VOXANDHOPS.com. And when you do that, you shall receive one email a week containing all of the details of everything that has happened throughout the past week in the world of the Vox&Hops Metal Podcast, including all of the details for every episode which I have dropped throughout that past week, if I have been a guest on someone else's podcast, as well as the updated links for any live interview Thirsty Thursday virtual hangs, which I'm very stoked to announce right now that the next live interview Thirsty Thursday virtual hang, which is happening on April 1st, is with Brittany Slays of Unleash the Archers. I'm super stoked to hang out with Brittany again. She's been on the podcast twice before, and I'm very, very, very excited to hang out with her again with the Thirsty Thursday gang. You can also get the links to the Brutal Awakenings playlists, which is curated by my man Jerry Monk, the metal architect himself. Do yourself a favor, sign up to the Vox&Hops Metal Podcast mailing list. Trust me, this is a party that you do not want to miss. Now, let's jump into this. 1 year ago, I started hanging out with friends on Zoom, and now a year later, I have a beautiful, beautiful group of humans that I call friends. This is Vox&Hops episode number 245, and it's all about Thirsty Thursdays.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
A year ago, I invited a few of my friends, a bunch of the Vox&Hops alumni, some of my friends that I toured with, other musicians, to come hang out with me on Zoom. I had just had a work meeting where I realized that I could connect with people all over the globe, and I saw that there was a beautiful opportunity here to hang out with my friends when I couldn't. So I called it Thirsty Thursday, and I invited some friends. The first week went super well. There was a bunch of people. We had a blast. I then did it the following week at a different time. I tried it in the middle of the afternoon so I could connect with some of my friends from overseas. That one went well, too. It was also super fun. I really, really enjoyed that. So I decided to open it up to the public and invite some Vox&Hops heads to come hang out with some of the Vox&Hops alumni and some of my closest friends. So once I opened up Thirsty Thursday to the Vox&Hops heads, I wanted to create an environment of inclusion, of acceptance, and I did that very early on by allowing everyone to have the chance to share something with us, whether it's what beer they're drinking or to answer a question that I threw at the group, whether it be about life or metal. I very quickly learned that it was important to keep these topics light and happy and not about the pandemic, because we did that a few times and it turned dark, and I wanted Thirsty Thursdays to be something where we could escape from this. So I decided to keep it light, keep it positive, keep it to be a place where people could come and enjoy life in metal. That all started a year ago in March of 2020. And now here we are a year later, and it has grown into something that is truly amazing. But instead of listening to me talk about what Thirsty Thursday is all about, I asked the Thirsty Thursday gang to tell me what Thirsty Thursdays mean to them. So let's start with my good friend Dan from Winnipeg.
Hey, Matt. It's Dan in Winnipeg. First thing that comes to mind is, who would have thought that a podcast would be responsible for developing such a strong community? You know, I mean, when you think about it, it kind of makes sense, because I find people that are into metal or extreme metal or whatever you want to call it, right? They're pretty loyal. when it comes to their bands and their music. Beer people, also very loyal when it comes to their beer. You know, you combine the two, you essentially have some of the most fiercest and loyal people out there. So the community is strong, you know, and it all stems from the work that you do on the podcast. So hats off to you for that, for sure. For me, Thursdays, they're reliable. At the beginning of COVID, of course, during the heavy lockdowns there, definitely something that I can't even express how much I was looking forward to every Thursday. Knowing that it was there, that I could hang out with people and see faces that were into the same music as me, that enjoyed beer as much as I do. Even though some people have bad taste in music, but that's okay though. But it was great, you know, and I loved it and I still love it. And even though I don't make it there for every Thursday because of life, right? We all have our things. Try my best to attend. And when I do, I love seeing the regulars. I love seeing even new folks that I don't even know yet, whatever. You know what? It's awesome. Roll there to have fun, hang out. And it's great. Anyways, thank you, Matt. Thank you for doing this. It's been a pleasure. All the best. Cheers.
When I had to go back to work in June, there was one night when the group asked me if I was still going to continue hosting Thirsty Thursdays. They had this look on their faces of sadness and worry that this was going to be gone, that they wouldn't have this safe haven, this place to escape once a week away from the madness of the pandemic, away from the madness of what social media has done to us all. So I absolutely continue doing it, but starting in July, I started inviting some guest hosts to come help me host Thirsty Thursday. So I reached out to the Vox&Hops alumni, see who would come and hang out with me. The first one that I actually had on was Riley McShane, and he was amazing, super, super great co-host, and that's why he's doing all of the Metal Blade podcast right now, because he's a great host. I invited all of Cryptopsy one at a time. I really enjoyed this format of hanging out with an alumni, with the Thirsty Thursday gang. The gang could ask questions to the alumni, and as well as to me or any other alumni that was there at that time. I'm super stoked that I incorporated that into Thirsty Thursdays, and it really created a different ambiance and experience for everyone involved. Someone that always asks a bunch of great questions whenever I bring on an alumni is Jorge. So let's hear what Jorge has to say about Thirsty Thursdays.
Hola, soy Jorge y soy parte del grupo de Thirsty Thursdays. Salud. Thirsty Thursday is a place where I get to interact with a lot of really cool people. You know, metal lovers, craft beer lovers. Sometimes we get to interact with members of really cool bands too, and even band managers or promoters. Besides being something that I look forward to doing, especially now in these lockdown pandemic days, it has also given me the opportunity to meet a lot of nice, cool, good people, some of whom I now even consider my friends. I also got to know about some really good bands that I didn't know before, and I discovered some really good craft beer and breweries too. Thirsty Thursdays is such a nice, cool place where I'm going to discuss beers and metal, but also going to have fun and just talk about, you know, funny, silly stuff. But sometimes we also talk about, you know, serious personal stuff. And I'm doing this with like-minded people, really cool people. And as I was saying before, some of whom I consider my friends now. So this is a great place. Thirsty Thursdays is something really, really special to me. Cheers.
There was a time when I would say goodbye because I had to go to work, so I would cut off at a particular time. Normally it was about after 2 hours of hosting Thirsty Thursdays. And then just, you know, being on the internet afterwards, I would see that some of these people are still hanging out in separate Zoom parties. So I was super stoked about this. I thought it was amazing. So I put the question out there. I was like, what if we organized after parties where After I sign off, someone else hosts the party until there is no more party. And we called it the Thirsty Thursday After Party. So we have a bunch of amazing people that have taken it upon themselves to be the hosts. Sometimes these parties would go on until late at night, early into the morning. I've heard stories of Thirsty Thursday After Parties lasting until 4 a.m. It's amazing. So a massive shout out to all of the after party hosts. And here is a word from one of those hosts right now. I call him the after party king. This is Evan Welch.
Hey everybody, my name is Evan Welch, sometimes called the after party king of the Vox&Hops Thirsty Thursday after parties. And I'm really called that, but in reality, I'm just one of many people who take on that role. It really is a whole community thing. And that's really what this has become. And that's what Thirsty Thursday has really meant to me. It's about being a part of a community that really supports each other. Not just in beer and in metal. It's really a beautiful thing that Matt and Jess have made. And I don't really know what I would do without it at this point. For a whole year, all of 2020, part of 2021, going forward. I'm really looking forward to actually meeting all of these beautiful friends I've made. The connections I now have are almost basically cherished connections. These are people that I'm going to know basically the rest of my life. Between Jerry, Philippe, even with Philippe, I started a podcast with, which is just absolutely fantastic. It really is a great community. It's meant the world. Can't really say much more than that, man. I mean, if you're not a part of it, you're definitely missing out. It's so welcoming and just such a warm place to be. Every Thursday, looking forward to it. Sometimes you miss them and it sucks, but hey, that's the good thing about it. It's always next Thursday. So it's a fantastic community and I look forward to being a part of it for many more years. Cheers.
As Thirsty Thursday was growing and growing, I kept just being baffled by the amount of people that were coming from all across the globe. We had a bunch of people from the States, a bunch of people from Canada, people that would stay up all night and then join in the middle of the night from Europe, from the UK, from Germany. We had people from New Zealand. We've had people from India there. It's absolutely amazing. Right here we have a truly amazing couple from Mexico, Nayeli and Jerry. They make me want to go back on tour and to come down to Mexico to drink all of this sick beer they're always drinking. So let's hear what they think about Thirsty Thursdays.
Hola, somos Nayeli y Gerardo de México, and we are happy to join to this episode of Vox&Hops.
If you ask us, the best part of Vox&Hops is when everybody's presenting the beer they are tasting at the moment, and we start to talk about metal bands and stuff. To talk in Thirsty Thursday is so cool and pleasant that has brought us a lot of new friends from different places.
And for us, the Thirsty Thursday means a lot of fun whilst we are drinking a good beer in the safest way at home during this pandemic. So thank you, Matt, for considering us.
Something that is truly beautiful that has grown out of Thirsty Thursdays is the beautiful sense of friendships that have formed all across the globe. I'm seeing people interact and be friends and commenting on things that have nothing to do with Vox&Hops, that have nothing to do with beer or metal. They're talking about their lives. And this is, I know, that I'm going to see. Just this past summer, we had people from Quebec City coming here. We had another friend from Montreal that went to go visit someone in Gatineau and then went all the way over to Quebec City to visit them. I know that once we can start doing things again and we're allowed to go across borders, we're going to see people that met at Thirsty Thursdays hang out in real life, and it's insane. It's something that happens so organically and so beautifully. I cherish these beautiful friendships that have formed out of Thirsty Thursdays. Up next, let's hear what Ollie from Samus Vlog has to say about Thirsty Thursdays.
Hi, everyone. This is Ollie from Samus Vlog. I am from Montreal. I am also a dear fan of the Vox&Hops podcast and also the Vox&Hops Thirsty Thursdays. I'm, I would say, part of the original gang. I'm one of the OGs. It was a wonderful, wonderful idea Matt had to just get us to be chatting on video conference together every Thursday. He started that very early in the year 2020, and it kind of got me out of a typical boring Thursday night during the pandemic. Allowed me to discover more and more delicious craft beers with more and more craft beer enthusiasts all over the map. I mean, across the world. And I've met so many cool people here in Montreal because of this. So many cool people across Canada that I have been chatting with. And we have been even trading snow globes by mail, if you know what I mean. And it allowed me to just have a good time, meet cool people, and discuss metal, craft beer, life in general, and just have a good time with an amazing group of people that is the Thirsty Thursdays gang. So you should check that out, definitely. And also, just give the man a little help, buy some merch, buy a t-shirt. He's got incredible care for detail. Prints are amazing. Quality of the t-shirts is really up to par with major brands. So check it all out. Ciao, guys. Cheers.
Something else that is truly incredible that is formed thanks to Thirsty Thursdays is a podcast that was born from two of the members of Thirsty Thursdays, and now they have their own podcast that talks about metal and craft beer. It's called Whispers from the Void, and it is hosted by Philippe De Vitesse and Evan Welch, and it's a super cool podcast, which I have been on, and if you haven't checked it out, you absolutely should. I've put the link to it in the description of this podcast. Let's see what Philippe De Vitesse has to say about Thirsty Thursdays.
Hi everyone, it's Phil De Vitesse for the Intimates. So, the best part of the Vox&Hops Thirsty Thursday is meeting new guests, meeting new people. It's always fun. Interact with them and ask them questions, and all just learning about them a little bit more than only listening to the music. It's always fun. And sharing a beer with everyone, it's always fun. Drinking beer and having fun. I love those Thirsty Thursdays because of that. What the gang and the Thirsty Thursdays brought me? Well, it brought me new friends to share the passion of metal, life, and craft beer with. It brought me a lot of joy. And also the guts to start my own podcast, Whispers from the Void. And that podcast exists because of Vox&Hops and everyone who is a part of the Vox&Hops. That's the reason why my podcast exists. I do it with Evan Welch, by the way. Love you, Evan. And yeah, so I'm just happy about it. Also, it means family. Like, this gang will be a part of my family forever and ever. I'm so happy about it. Like, I never thought that in 1 year I would have so many friends. So Matt, Jess, everyone, thank you so much about this project, this life, this family that we build, this community. So I'm so happy. I'm so stoked to share a beer with everyone on the podcast, like in real life one day. So yeah, thank you so much, Matt, Jess, and everyone. So happy. Cheers.
Right when September hit, it came to a point where the podcast was getting really, really busy. I was back at work full time. Holidays were over. We were back in the full swing of life, as much as life can continue in a pandemic situation. So I decided to start hosting Thirsty Thursdays once a month, but I would do a live interview with a past guest of the podcast, a Vox&Hops alumni, and then I would open the floor to the Thirsty Thursday gang to ask questions to the Vox&Hops alumni, and then that whole thing would become a new Vox&Hops episode, which drops the following Thursday. So I've been doing this since September. I host the first Thursday of each month, a live interview Thirsty Thursday, which is what I call them. And I love it. And what's truly amazing and something that expresses how special Thirsty Thursdays are is that the gang keeps hanging out on all of the other Thursdays when I'm not there. And that's because it's just the sense of community, the sense of friendship, the sense of togetherness that Thirsty Thursday has formed. It's that impactful and it's that important to people. So they keep hanging out every Thursday, and I truly, truly was in awe of that, and I think it's amazing, and I'm so happy that they still do that to this day. Up next, let's listen to what Brian has to say about Thirsty Thursdays.
This is Brian Salazar. The community that you build, guests that have been on the show, whether they're in bands or in breweries, the active members, and the people that I've come to be friends with, it's given me something to look forward to during the pandemic, get some news or information about bands and hear other people's stories and how they're going. And to me, the Thirsty Thursday group, it gives me a newfound love for finding music. I used to do it a lot in high school and a little bit after. And then as time goes on and you lose, move away, I stopped talking to him about music so much, and that kind of interest lost itself, or I lost the interest in finding music.
The amount of metal and music that I have discovered thanks to Thirsty Thursdays is incredible. A lot of that has to do with one member in particular. His name is Jerry Monk. That name might sound familiar to you by now because I have enrolled him in helping me create the Brutal Awakenings playlists for Vox and Hops. He has such an acute and special attention when it comes to discovering new bands. He has his finger on the metal pulse, I like to say. He is incredible. I don't know how he has the time to listen to all the music that he does, but he does, and he always finds the best stuff out there. So up next, let's listen to what Jerry Monk, the metal architect himself, thinks about Thirsty Thursdays.
Hey, this is Jerry, the metal architect. The best part of it for me, brought something for me to look forward to every single week, no matter how bad my week is going or how good it's going. I know, hey, Thursday night, I'm going to be able to crack a few cold ones with everybody and talk about, upcoming music that came out the week before, and just what's been going on in my week. And it means all the world to me, the connections I've made in this group, whether it's from here in the States to Canada to across the globe. It's just amazing. I know I have a friend in any corner on the globe to have a beer with whenever I make it there. Cheers, everyone.
Something that I'm truly looking forward to is getting out on the road again with Cryptopsy, playing some gigs, of course, but mainly because I want to meet all of you Thirsty Thursday members in the flesh. I want to hang out with you. I want to go out to dinner before the gigs. I want to drink some craft beers with you, and I want to enjoy life and metal after the shows too. I'm really, really looking forward to this. The amount of friendships that have formed through this is incredible. I cannot wait until that happens. I can't, we can just start simple. I can't wait till there's shows here in Montreal, and that I show up at a show here in Montreal and I look around and there's a group of people hanging out, and they're hanging out because they've all met at Thirsty Thursday. I know this is going to happen. I'm super excited for that as well. Someone I know will be there at that show in Montreal is France. Let's hear what France has to say about Thirsty Thursdays.
Bonjour, mon nom est France Attin. Je fais partie de la gang des Thirsty Thursday. Cheers tout le monde. For me, the Thirsty Thursday virtual hang is a very cool way to connect with a wonderful group of people who share the same interests in metal music, shows, and craft beer. The best part is the interaction within the group itself. We all respect each other's opinions. The energy in the group is very good. Attending shows was a big part of my life before the pandemic, and we all missed seeing a band play live. And it feels good to talk about it with people who experience it in the same way. While we are drinking our super good craft beer, we talk about our passions, so I think we connected in a deep way. Since we talk about craft beer during the Thirsty Thursday hang, I discovered a lot of microbreweries that I didn't know about in Montreal, where I live, or nearby. I even discovered microbreweries in other regions in Canada, in the United States, and Europe. So thanks a lot to the people in the group who lives in different parts of the world and share their interests about their local breweries. I developed some very good friendship with a few people in the group. It's gonna be almost surreal to go to a show with the Thirsty Thursday gang when the pandemic is gonna be over. It's gonna be really awesome. For me, the Thirsty Thursday virtual hang and the group means a lot. It became a very important part of my life. Our group is like a family. It means super cool people, funny people, passionate people, and respectful people who share a real passion for metal and craft beer.
Something else that's really incredible that happened on Thirsty Thursdays is that we celebrated a bunch of things together. We've celebrated people's birthdays. We've actually had a bachelor party for Evan Welch at a Thirsty Thursday, which was super fun. We rang in 2021 together at a New Year's party. Incredible. Who would have thought that a group of people from all over the globe would see each other more than they actually see their friends that they had before the pandemic? I think it's incredible. I'm looking forward to creating a whole bunch of new memories throughout the next year during Thirsty Thursdays. Up next, let's listen to Colby. He's got a beautiful radio voice. I was very impressed by his radio voice, and he says a lot of beautiful things right here, too. This is Colby from Ottawa.
What's up, everybody? I'm Colby from Ottawa, and I'm a member of the Thirsty Thursday crew. The best part of Thirsty Thursday to me is the excitement leading up to each and every Thursday for the past year, knowing that you have something to do that week. I haven't been a part of every single virtual hang, but I haven't missed out on too many either. It's way too fun of a time to pass up. On top of that, it has also been a very difficult year for me and for everyone else during this pandemic, regardless of your situation and whatever has unfolded in your life during these stressful times. I can't thank Matt enough for starting the Thirsty Thursday virtual hangs, because at the end of the day, what's cooler than hanging out virtually with fellow craft beer snobs, metalheads, and your favorite musicians? Nothing, that's what. Matt has helped us stay safe and united for once a week for almost a year. Now that is fucking beautiful. Now all we gotta do is keep that up. Thirsty Thursday has brought peace, love, tranquility, and a little bit more balance to my life once again. It's a gathering I look forward to each week where I can just relax and be myself and not need to worry about what's happening in the world too much. Even if you have something that you need to get off your chest, Thirsty Thursday is a place where you can feel comfortable doing that. Why? Because there's no judgment here, unless you really are just a terrible human being. But hey, that's why we have rules, right? At the end of the day, the topics of conversation sometimes can be pretty heavy, but we tend to stray away from that as much as possible and just bring that positive energy that we all need these days. The world can be pretty fucked up at times, but that's why we have each other and why we have Thirsty Thursday. Thirsty Thursday, to me, means love, it means friends, and most importantly, it means family. Where else could I have connected with all these amazing people during a pandemic? At a show? Nope. Out in public somewhere? Not really. What about online on a Zoom chat once a week? Fuck yeah, buddy. Back in the old days when we still got to get out and go to concerts, I frequently would go to Montreal for shows, sometimes even Toronto, because we all know there isn't much of a scene here in Ottawa unless you're into EDM or country, which isn't really my forte. But now with all the people I've met through Thirsty Thursday, there's going to be a worldwide fucking tour when this shit is over, baby. And I can't wait to meet all the new members of my family out in the world. It's going to be amazing. I love all of you guys so much, and I thank you all for being there for me and being there for everybody else this past year. And I'm happy to once again have more people in my life with the same interests: life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox&Hops Heads. Cheers to you, Matt, the Vox&Hops alumni, and the Thirsty Thursday crew, because without you guys, who knows where the fuck I'd be right now.
I love that we had the chance to do this episode. I love that I got to shine some light on Thirsty Thursdays. I'd like to just take a moment to think about the future of Thirsty Thursdays. I know that it's going to continue. I know that the connections, the community, the friendship, the beautiful thing that we have built together will be there for life. Whether there is a pandemic going on or not, we will still stay in touch. We will still hang out. I imagine that it will be different, especially when we can do it in person. And I got to tell you that I'm really, really looking forward to that. But as long as it's not safe for us to hang out in person, let's keep doing it virtually. Let's keep enjoying life, metal, and craft beer together on Thirsty Thursday virtual hangs. Now, there's a whole bunch of times that we just laughed a lot on Thirsty Thursdays. One of those moments was when everyone started putting on sunglasses. I went to take a mat break, a hashtag mat break, as you all very well know what that is, and I came back to everyone wearing sunglasses. So this is that moment.
Matt, wear your sunglasses.
I don't have any. That's like, I don't own sunglasses.
Get a Sharpie, Matt. Get a Sharpie and paint them black.
Just fucking croak him out, dude.
And honestly, my favorite moment of Thirsty Thursday Virtual Hangs is when we tried to record those gang chants for the craft beer jingle that is just about finished, and Jessica really wanted me to get into this episode, but it didn't happen, sadly. But this is what it sounds like when you try to record a group of 20, 30 people chanting craft beer via Zoom and trying to record that into something that you can use later. It didn't work. Here it is. It's hilarious.
We're going to try to track the new jingle for Vox and Hops. This is Vox and Hops Thirsty Thursday Virtual Hang Gang. And here we go with our craft beer chants. Let's do this.
That was awesome.
Perfect, guys.
Redo it, bro.
Man, I love that. One last thing that quickly became a ritual is at the end of every hang, I would take a picture and we would do a put on your mat face, the face that I make when I pose for pictures, my silly metal face. And then here we are, we cheers, we say goodnight. I pass the torch to the after party host. I'm so stoked that we developed this ritual. It's amazing. I have this documentation of many photographs of all of us hanging out and enjoying life, metal, and craft beer together. It is amazing, and I'm looking forward to doing it again very soon. So as I ring you out, I just say cheers. Thank you all. Long live the Vox and Hops Thirsty Thursday gang. You are all very, very special to me, and I can't wait to see you again.
If you don't want to be recorded, turn off your camera now. We're going to do our cheers. Super stoked to be with you all. Thank you so much for having been with us. Get your stupid mad face on. Cheers, everyone. Cheers.
Yay!
Cheers.
I'm underage.
Oh, I'm not ready.
Oh my god.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you so much for coming this week. I love it. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be with you all. Until next week, enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops Heads. Appreciation.
Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. You guys rock.
I'm stoked to hang out with all.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matt.
Everyone, have a good night.
Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. You know that I love and appreciate that. What a glorious, beautiful way to celebrate 1 year of Thirsty Thursdays. I would have never imagined that a pandemic would bring so much connectivity, so much love, such a closeness. I am very, very honored and in awe of what Thirsty Thursdays have become. I cherish it, and I am just so excited to see where this goes. I am very grateful for everyone that took the time to send me some audio messages for this episode. You are excellent humans, and if you didn't get the chance and you wanted to do it, or if you're too shy to do it, that's okay too, because Thirsty Thursdays is all about being respectful and accepting people for who they are. If you enjoyed this Vox and Hops episode, you should follow it on the podcast platform of your choice. But more than that, you should take the time to rate it and write a review, because when you do that, more people just like yourself will be able to discover the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast. You should also sign up to the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast mailing list. You can do that on my website, voxandhops.com. And when you do that, you shall receive one email a week containing all of the details for everything that has happened throughout the past week in the world of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast. Do yourself a favor, sign up to the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast mailing list. This is a party that you do not want to miss. The Vox and Hops Metal Podcast is brought to you by Sound Talent Media. I have one more episode coming at you tomorrow, but until then, remember to enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops Heads.